Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FPL Don't Panic. Right, what I want to do. So I did a little video last night after the games in a mildly sad state after my 25-pointer, just 5 players to go. Captain Cunha gone, another Des captaincy disaster, injuries all over the place. And Mint said that I pressed the wildcard button. Not a panic wildcard. I had at the beginning of the season planned a wildcard for anyways, but I'd gone off the idea as I felt maybe it would be good to try and get to 5 or 6 without pressing the button. But I've got to stick with plan A, as they say, because just multiple injuries. Just injuries all over the place, and it's really well Cunha, the Cunha injury, that was just a final straw, and obviously first 3 game weeks, first 2 not disastrously bad. Now this game week's not over. I've seen worse situations turn around, but currently 25 points. And it's not looking great. Let's be honest. If I can get over 50 or 60, I'd be very happy at this point. That's not what I want to talk about. We'll review the game week when it's all done and dusted. But I have pressed the wildcard button, and in the video last night, I spoke about obviously the reasons around that, and feeling that I do need to turn things around. Because the team's devastated. So currently, you're looking at the current first wildcard draft. Now, I don't think this is ultimately where it will land, but I thought, as quite a few of these players have still got a way to go in this draft, it would be a good time to just run a little experiment. Because as I say, data for me is absolute the king. Data is absolute gold, particularly the way I run the spreadsheet and running those averages and etc. You've seen it all before, so I'm not going to bore you with all that again. So I did take the trouble to run it through the spreadsheet to see how it looked after the first 2 game weeks, and see with quite a few players to go, because interestingly enough, this team is currently, as you see it there, is currently sitting on almost exactly the same points as I am at the moment. With 6 players to go, I've got 5 to go, just to see where they land. And the team doesn't have particularly good or easy games for the rest of this game week. One of the other reasons, obviously, as I said, mentioned yesterday, for going with this wildcard now, and good reasoning, I hope, to do it in the international break, is to try and take advantage of price rises and avoid price falls, of course, which would have absolutely been affected in my current team. Yeah, there would have been a lot of drops. Simple as that. Between the Cunhas, the Frimpongs, all the players that are getting cleared out. We'll get rid of that just for now. So this is just I haven't got all of these players in there at the moment, but we may add 1 or 2 in later on as these price rises. So these are some of the sort of price rises. This is FPL Hub, by the way. This is where I try and monitor price rises, price falls. It's not 100% accurate. The FPL algorithm for doing price rises and price falls is a bit of a mystery. This tends to be the most accurate one I found anyways for tracking. If anyone knows of a better one, great, but this tends to be reasonably accurate. So I'm going to be monitoring over the next 2 weeks price rises, price falls, and obviously been trying to catch those, and as well as obviously trying to catch the price rises, some of the players that could be falling in price could be ones that make it into my wildcard for finalized draft. Talk about that more in depth another time, but Watkins would be someone I'd be looking at. Watkins, say what you will, is a reliable asset. I almost hope he gets one today, so that I can, now he's had his couple of price drops, get him in, because the fixtures are still good. And Watkins is a bit like me, on a night on the tiles. Drink 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pints, and you hang on. But once you burst the seal, it just flows. Watkins is a bit like that. Once he gets that first one, all of a sudden he will turn into that metronome again. It will just be regular returns. And the fixtures are good. And maybe I'll just catch him at a bit of a lower price until he starts to rise again. One to watch. But that's just sort of letting you know sort of some of the things I'm sort of looking at. Good players that have dropped, that do have good fixtures, that still might come back. But the main purpose, obviously, is to try and put a team together that's going to give me a reasonable chance of achieving that 70-point average, because after this game week, unless there's a minor miracle, I suspect my average is going to drop down to about 60. Now, in fairness, last season I dropped down to 55, 56, and that was by about game week 6 or 7, and I got that back to nearly 68 in the end by the end of the season. Again, once I had more data. Data is king. Data is gold. Let's have a look at this anyways. Always interested for your thoughts. Some of the players in here may be keepers, but this is more an experiment, a spreadsheet experiment. That's what it looks like currently. So as you can see there, in game weeks 1, this team would have brought you in 83 without captaincy. In game week 2, it would have brought you in 74 without captaincy. It's currently got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players to go, and I'll just double check this on my own spreadsheet here, but I think it currently, oh sorry, I got that wrong, it's actually on 33. It's not as bad as I thought it was. 33. But even so, we'll be interested to see how much that team achieves over the 70. So that will give me sort of, okay, I'm not too badly on a bad track here, and there's obviously good fixtures to come in 4. 5 doesn't look so good. So this, like I said, this isn't the definitive final team. I'm developing, a watch list that I'm putting together. There'll be a lot of tinkering with this over the next 2 weeks. And that's one of the nice things about this. As one of my subscribers said to me this morning, he said, "Oh, lucky you! You've got a wild card to play with over the international break when we will be twiddling our thumbs." And actually, I thought, "Oh yeah, actually, well, yeah, that's actually quite nice, just having a little bit of something to do while we have the international break." Within the team, there's an awful lot of things to consider. Obviously, as I said, I think I run through, I'll run through these very, very quickly. Is it showing my averages? 4, 5, 6, 7, goalkeeper, defenders, midfielders, strikers. Obviously, obvious captain choice. Okay, I've got Haaland in there at the moment. I've got to play with the idea of, do I go off this side? I've been points dodging with my captaincy or just having severely bad luck. As in the Cunha injury yesterday. Do I just find the right player, perma-captain him, knowing that you will get some returns? And obviously, your obvious choices there will be to just perma-captain Haaland. Decision to make another day. But there's certainly, after the Arsenal fixture, there's certainly a nice change of fixtures there for Haaland with some good fixtures. You'd have to think there are some goals in there along from 4 through to 10. So let's just get those points. If he doesn't return some weeks and braces another and blanks another and blanks another and then gets a couple of returns, we do know that Haaland is going to score 20 plus goals this season. In there should be some assists. You're going to think across the season, 30 returns. Is that worth 14.6 million? It is if you're getting the captaincy points and you know that there's a reliance, because then you are getting that double and you've got a reasonably reliable turn of points coming in from that captaincy. Similarly to Salah, Salah's averages are not fantastic at the moment, and neither are Haaland's to date. He's only probably averaging 5.5, but we'll see what happens against Brighton and see if that starts to push up. Talk about that again. Currently holding on to Ekitike and João Pedro because I've got money tied up in them because they've gone up in value. And I'm sure you understand, you're all engaged. You all know how it works. I don't want to lose that value in them just yet. But we do have obviously concerns around Ekitike. Obviously, if Isak comes in, and of course this is one of the other things with doing this wildcard now, I will be able to see where those last minute transfers are and where they will create rotation risks within this team. And obviously Isak has joined Liverpool, and I think he will. Ekitike will become a minutes risk, but not immediately, I think. Not immediately. So I certainly think I'll be hanging on to him for Burnley and potentially Everton until we see, because Isak obviously hasn't had a proper pre-season. Where I've got Rangers, really, really keen to have a look at Rodri. We'll see how he goes today. I know we haven't got data for Rodri, but if his data starts to become what it was 2 years ago with DEFCON and the amount of yeah, he'll just be such a gem. Watch FPL Pricey. I just saw him this morning. He's on the same bandwagon as me there. So listen, I'm not actually going to talk too much about this team because it could change a lot. This is an experiment in spreadsheet to see how close it gets to the 83 and the 74 that it's been performing at so far, which would have been an average of 78.5, excluding captaincy. If I could do that, I'd bloody win FPL even after these game weeks I've had. Because seriously, the winner will actually end up on a 73, 74 point average. Interestingly, I haven't got this to show you this, guys, but interestingly, I'm looking at this on my own screen at the moment. After game week 2, the number 1 was on 211 points, which was an average of 105. That is so much lower than last year. That dropped from 127 to 105. It'll be interesting to see where that lands after game week 3. The 50k average to be in the top 50,000 at the moment dropped from 87 to 75. So remember, a 70 point average will get you well inside the top 5k. At the moment, though, the averages to where they were at the beginning of last season, and considering there's been way more chips played, there's been hundreds of thousands of chips played. This is way lower than last year, much lower. So, yeah, that's really interesting. I thought with the amount of chips that are actually been played early this year, I expected those averages to be, certainly on a par with last year. They are much lower. And do you know why? Because we're not getting the Salah, Haaland captaincy hauls that I think most of us were benefiting from at the beginning of last year. We'll see where this all lands after game week 3 and how it progresses on 3, 4, 5. Basically, I would expect by game week 15, it's reasonably consistent with previous seasons. The number one in the world will have dropped to an average of about 74, 75 points, maybe a little bit more, but it'll be in that area. The number 1 in the world will be averaging about 74, 75 points, getting to sort of that level that it will be to win it and be consistent for the season. And as I said, top 5k finish will be sort of about 70ish. We'll see where that is. I monitor that, and I'll show you those numbers on a weekly basis. I haven't done it this week because we're obviously waiting for game week 3 to finish. Listen, I'll leave it at that. A little bit of a Desi waffle. As I said, the main purpose in all of this is show you the first draft of the wildcard 4. It will change because I'm using this to catch price rises, monitor price drops, and try and build a squad that's showing my averages, albeit I don't think we can rely on the data too much at the moment, which is why I'm running this little mini experiment with technically my wildcard been a shadow squad for the rest of this week. Obviously looking at those fixtures going up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 because I will want to roll. So I want a reasonably deep bench to cover for injuries so I can try and get to 7 because that's where I want to bring in some Arsenal assets. That might be the Gyökereses, it might maybe to bring in a Gabriel because there's that big fixture turn then. And then and try and roll again if I can because there is another significant fixture swing around 11 or 12 which I haven't got on the screen there. So first draft, let me know what you think. I'm developing a watch list. Anyone you think I should have in the watch list that might actually strengthen that, putting a bit of green in the right places, that's showing some decent numbers, particularly there for 5. Definitely need to look at 5. 5 is the main one, really. If I can get 5 sorted, the rest of it looks pretty decent, I think. Because I'll be hopefully have 3 or 4 transfers in 7 to green up a little bit of that up front and that midfield. And the defence actually still doesn't look too bad at that point. We'll see. Story for another day. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take care, have fun, play your own game. Hope the rest of the game week goes well for you. Hope it really goes well for me. And as I say, I'll be back and we'll see how this team has done when it's all washed up. See you soon. Bye-bye.